Welcome to Alternative Investments Chat,
where we demystify the world of alternative investments and financing for entrepreneurs and investors alike.
With these discussions, we hope you're more empowered to unlock opportunities in your business or portfolio. I'm Erin.
And I'm Erica. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Alternative Investments Chat podcast. Today's episode is about industrial real estate. Another episode in our real estate series here. Now, you're probably thinking, warehouses, that's not cool. That's not sexy. I don't know how I feel about that. But neither is toothpaste. And, Colgate has been paying dividends for years.
Yeah, well, I'm more of a Crest girly over here. I like my Crest whitening extra, whatever scope is. I like that is my go-to. But I completely get where you're going with this. Industrial real estate is the utility player of the investing world. It doesn't need attention, unlike our needy pets do, or a needy girlfriend or whomever. Like, give me more attention, please, In fact, most people will never even see the inside of these buildings here.
Yep, that's true. There is no foot traffic, no storefronts, no lobbies. It just shows up every day, puts on its steel-toed boots, which I always thought were really cool. I need a pair of those.
Yep.
And seemingly prints rent checks.
That's right. So let's break down what it is, where it lives. That's where it is, but those are
Lots
the
of
same.
where, who, what, where,
when, how it makes money, the good, the bad, and most importantly, how it fits into your portfolio without turning you into a landlord full-time that just drives around in a forklift, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, though. I kind of have always wanted to drive a forklift. It looks pretty fun.
I do, too.
Yeah.
I kind of do, too.
Yeah, I always used to like watching the people in Costco driving around on their little forklifts.
Yeah, and I'm like, even the videos, though, when they lose their, whatever they're trying to move. Ooh.
Yeah.
That'd probably be me.
Rough.
But that's okay.
Is that coming out of my paycheck? I hope not.
Oh, I hope not. Anyway, yes.
But what is industrial real estate? Industrial real estate is basically where your stuff lives before it becomes the stuff you buy, before you own it. As we already mentioned, industrial real estate involves properties that are used for non-public commercial activities. These properties are typically not open to clients and are used for behind-the-scenes work, such as mechanical engineering, scientific research, parcel deliveries. If the office buildings are where emails are sent and retail is where impulse buying happens, well, industrial real estate is where commerce actually works. Every Amazon package, medical supply, auto part, or overpriced standing desk. Yeah,
we've got a few of those here.
A lot of us fell for that one. You ordered has to spend time in an industrial building first, getting to be what it's going to be. It has to grow up into your standing desk, like the financial purgatory a bit before delivery.
Well, if that's the case, and my purgatory is full to the brim, I've got a whole laundry list of things in my shopping cart that are still waiting there for me to hit that buy now, right?
Yep.
So industrial properties vary in size, commonly classified as small, large, and enormous, many exceeding 100,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And industrial property is a type of commercial real estate, and those terms are often interchanged. However, there are several key differences, some big ones. Again, the first one is extremely simple. A commercial property is likely to have some kind of, there's not going to be any interaction with the public, you know. But the commercial ones, they are.
Yeah.
So this fact alone creates a huge divide between the two, particularly in how they look and how they operate. Industrial users, on the other hand, very rarely have clients on their property, like we just said.
Yeah.
And they don't have to look Instagrammable or have commercial zoning. They just care if a semi-truck can maneuver back up to the back of the building without committing a felony, hitting a car or something like that. And industrial leases are similar to commercial leases in that they are usually long-term and they hand over almost all the control and responsibility to the tenant.
Yep, exactly. Now, before we get too far down the rabbit hole of leases here, let's discuss where these industrial real estate properties actually live. Location is everything, but not in the way that people expect, not in the way that you and I care about location.
Right, exactly.
Industrial properties are strategically boring, and that's part of the magic here. You're going to find them near ports. That's easy for global trade. along interstates and highways, easy to load up that semi truck
Yep.
and get on the freeway to deliver the goods.
Yep.
Close to major metro areas, but not in them,
Mhm.
near rail lines, airports, distribution corridors. I think you can see a common theme here.
Yes.
But why are they located in these areas? Well, because time equals money and trucks don't like traffic. The closer that you are to the population centers, transportation infrastructure, or supply chain
Mhm.
choke points, the more valuable that warehouses become. This is why industrial real estate has exploded alongside e commerce and same day delivery.
Yes.
We live in an I want it now culture, and your impatience is someone else's yield. They want to get you your stuff right away.
Exactly. So I know we've mentioned this before, but I'm very, very guilty of living in this mentality, the I want it now. In fact, very true story. I ordered a bathroom rug last week. I spilt oil on mine. Won't go into that debacle. But I didn't get it from Amazon and it still hasn't arrived. And like I'm on the verge of a breakdown
Yeah.
because I might just go on Amazon and spend another $50 for a stupid bathroom rug because I'm tired of looking at mine and the other one hasn't arrived. Okay.
Mhm.
So anyway, so let's shift gears here before we go down that rabbit hole and talk about the money making part.
Yeah.
So industrial real estate makes money in the most refreshing way possible. Tenants pay rent.
Yep.
Done.
Done. Love it.
Usually these properties have long-term leases. We're talking 5 to 15 years. Sometimes we see them up into 20 and 30 years.
Sure.
They have triple net or modified net structures. So for those of you who don't know what that means, it simply means that the tenant or the leasee promises to pay all the expenses of the property, including real estate taxes, building insurance, and maintenance. So, like in an apartment, if your light bulb goes out, you can send a little request to your maintenance guy and say, hey, come change my light bulb.
Yep.
They'll come change the light bulb. In these industrial places, no, that's on you, girl.
Yep.
That's all on you.
Yep.
But again, these kinds of facilities, there we go, typically have fewer tenants per property. So it's one company.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's one tenant. You might have a lot of bodies inside there, but it's one
Sure.
person, right? Lower operation costs than offices or retail, as well as another great perk of these type of industrial spaces. Because tenants are getting this huge open space. They tend to invest heavily in things like specialized equipment, racking systems to put all their junk away, and they build it out the way that they want to.
Yeah.
So-
Robots.
Robots. Oh, I bet that would be. Never mind. Okay. Another podcast, sci-fi. So now we have a movie podcast, and now we're having a sci-fi podcast and this podcast.
Love
So
it.
Too
many.
We have way too many podcasts that we want to do. So anyway, what this actually means is that they're less likely to leave. Once you put a lot of effort into it, you don't want to move. Plus,
Right.
it's expensive and it's annoying. When
Totally.
you've got the space exactly how you like it, you're not going to leave. So as a landlord, however, this translates into lower turnovers and predictable cash flow,
Yep.
which we know we like.
That's right. And that's exactly what investors want. So, with that, let's transition into talking about the pros and the cons of investing in this space. So, you just mentioned one of the big pros, and that's the long term leases. Being able to sign long term leases is super beneficial for investors because it means that there is plenty of time to yield massive returns on the initial payout. Pretty cool. As a landlord or a property investor, one of the biggest concerns is not managing to secure a lease that will generate income. With these leases come high rental income, which is another pro. Although each tenant may choose to use the space differently, most of them come expecting to pay a lot of money to use the property.
Yeah.
After all, it's a very big space.
Exactly.
And the income potential in this asset class is typically much higher than in residential real estate or even commercial real estate.
Which makes perfect sense if you ask me, but that's if you're asking me. So the bigger the building, the higher the rent, like you just said.
Sure.
It's a huge amount of space. It's not a few hundred square feet.
Yep.
It's
Thousands.
thousands of square feet.
Yep.
So speaking of higher rent, you can also use that to hedge against inflation. So rents can reset higher, replacements costs may rise, and logistics demands, but those logistics demands, they don't disappear.
Yeah.
During inflation. They actually adapt, which is very cool. So one of the pros that I like the most is the fact that there is low maintenance. Unlike myself, these guys don't need anything much, right?
Hmm.
So most industrial buildings require very, very little TLC since their main purpose is to stock and store.
Yep.
It's like me on the weekend. No makeup, no hair done in my leggings. I'm the industrial on the weekend, just stock and store, cleaning and going burning all that midnight oil and they're getting all my chores done.
Perfect.
So, within these buildings, there's no fancy lighting to upkeep or an espresso machine that keeps leaking in the conference room or in the break room or wherever. Concrete floors, guess what? They're emotionally stable.
Yeah. Super easy to
They
clean.
like it. The last pro that I want to just touch on real quick is the simple fact that this is a growing market.
Hmm.
Online shopping and shipping shows no signs of slowing in any shape, way, or form.
Yeah.
Just think about how many packages you got this
This
Christmas,
week.
this week. Yeah, piled up. I know.
Yeah.
I love coming up. There are 3 other apartments around mine on my little floor, and every day somebody's got something.
Classic.
So, new construction of enormous industrial properties like the 1.2 million square foot Amazon distribution center out in Mesa. They just prove that. I know you're just like,
I don't even know how to like conceptualize that.
just Google it, Google Earth it, and take a look at it.
Crazy.
But this just proves that the global economy and consumer demand are on the rise for industrial real estate market. So now it's time to dive into to the cons because we just covered all the
Cons.
pros.
Yes, I'll take it over. Well, I think one of the biggest ones to consider is the risk of vacancy. While we like to think that industrial properties can adapt to almost any purpose, the reality is that it's still a fairly niche market.
It is.
If an investor or owner can't find a company to rent the space to, they can end up stuck with a super expensive property with no income coming in, which is my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
This isn't just about one unit in an office building that's open. This is an entire building. Most investors want assets that ensure steady income, right? That would
Right.
be our goal. The
Mhm.
guarantees would be ideal.
Yeah.
Not one that potentially could sit idle and unprofitable for months or even years.
Ugh,
Yikes.
yeah.
While waiting for a new tenant.
Well, I mean, we say yikes, but we're in a commercial building, not industrial, but we're in a commercial building, and there's a commercial building next to us that has been half of it's been empty for the 2 years that I've worked here.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Can
And
you
I
imagine? Those investors are like, "Ugh,"
yeah,
they're not getting nothing right
somebody
now.
please take
Yeah.
it. Yeah, exactly. And there is also a risk of your buildings potentially becoming obsolete.
Mhm.
So what do you mean? You may be asking yourself, what does it mean to become obsolete? Well, you literally just told me in the pros that this asset class isn't slowing down.
Yeah.
Well, of course, there's two sides to every coin.
That's true.
And just like life, the only thing that's constant is change.
Unfortunately.
And the industrial market is forever changing with new rules and regulations that are coming into play all the time. If a property isn't flexible enough to keep up with the evolving new demand, it could run the risk of becoming obsolete and unusable.
Ugh.
Maybe the roof isn't high enough to accommodate new fixtures, or the latest machinery is too heavy for the floors. These things can happen.
Mhm.
Obsolescence can also come into play because of developments going on around the property, from new roads to expansion of a residential property or any other number of changes.
Yeah.
Choosing a well located industrial property with as much flexibility as possible is the key to avoiding the obsolescence, aka putting these places typically kind of in the middle of nowhere
Yep.
next to the road.
So basically location, location, location,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So the last con that I want to touch on is that investing in industrial real estate is not as straightforward or simple as property investments.
Mhm.
This isn't really a beginner friendly
Sure.
investment. Coming up with an investment strategy that works effectively most likely is going to take some expert help, professional help. Again, we are not the professionals. Please seek professional advice because you're going to have to work with specialist industries with lots of rules and regulations. So
Right.
you need that. So one way to invest in this asset class is to do it passively, meaning owning it either fully or partially, but then being actively having someone else actively manage it.
Sure.
You own it, someone else does the hard work, right? So leave the maintenance and the safety levels up to the expert property managers, which they do exist. Again, this, of course, is going to cost you some money on your investment, on your return.
Yep.
But I think it's going to save you the headache in the long run. And
Yep.
so speaking of headaches, we hope we haven't caused you one with all this info. But before we wrap up this bad boy, we just want to quickly chat about how this investment could fit into your portfolio.
Yeah. Industrial real estate has the potential to be the protein of your portfolio, if you will. It's not flashy, it's not sugary, but it can be super effective. This investment works well because it has a low correlation with the stock market, of course, provides income and appreciation benefits, and it also benefits from long-term economic activity. Investors are going to want to use it because I'm seeing you reach for something
Just
right now.
continue.
Oh, okay. Well, investors are going to want to use it because it can balance growth-heavy portfolios, hedge against inflation, and real asset exposure without betting on a consumer sentiment.
Yeah.
And again, like we already mentioned, you don't necessarily have to buy an entire warehouse to start rocking your hard hat. See, I saw it was coming. I knew it was coming. Is this your new everyday fashion choice here?
Again, we don't judge. This is a judge-free zone.
I like it.
And so if hard hats are your
Oh, I'm
thing,
not judging.
if
I'm
hard hats
admiring.
if hard hats are your thing, then maybe this industrial, asset class is for you. So here's a few ways you can access this industrial real estate. We've got private funds, REITs, syndications,
Yep.
interval or evergreen structures. So doing it in one of these ways also allows you to get exposure, diversify risk, avoid personally negotiating truck turning races, and trust me, look at this hard hat. That's a blessing in disguise, okay?
You're a natural. Truly.
I've got
well,
two of these. I should have brought yours.
So industrial real estate as an asset class, it isn't exactly glamorous, but you're kind of changing my mind on that with this pink hard hat situation.
I always bring my own vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
You look real good. I'm just saying. I think that hard hats are in, specifically the pink ones.
Yeah.
But this asset class is reliable, resilient, and quietly essential.
That's right. So you're never going to see this trending on social media. In fact, it actually shies away from all the buzz. But it just benefits from the simple fact that the world keeps buying stuff, and that stuff needs a couch to crash on for a little while.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. Couch or a pallet.
Yeah.
But a few key takeaways to remember here about industrial real estate: size matters if you're interested in distribution.
That's right.
The better the location, the bigger the potential. And flexibility is everything. You never know what type of client may be interested in leasing a property.
That's right. So if your portfolio is all growth, vibes, and volatility, well, industrial real estate might be the calm, still-framed friend you never knew you needed. Big boxes, big checks, and minimal drama. And honestly, that's the dream.
Yep, that's right. Well, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and check us out on YouTube. You can see this beautiful pink hard hat here, but we will see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more insight on our next episode.
And don't forget to subscribe to continue the Alternative Investments chat. See you next time.
Content provided in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as professional, financial, or investment advice. This podcast should not be construed as an offer to sell or a solicitation of any offer to buy any securities. We strongly recommend that you seek advice from a qualified professional before making any financial decisions.